toads were introduced to Australia in 1935 to combat native beetles in cane crops in far north Queensland and were unsuccessful in their mission. They multiplied in number from the original 102 to an estimated population of over 200 million, rapidly migrating across Australia today. At present, they inhabit nearly a third of Queensland, slightly over New South Wales border, and to the west across Northern Territory, rapidly approaching Western Australia. I chose this topic as I have lived as far north as Cairns, where cane toads have overrun the city, and have started to see them around where I currently live, just south of the border of New South Wales and Queensland. I wanted a clearer picture of their impact on the environment, and if they do, in fact, cause the amount of destruction that I have heard about in these new habitats. I obtained the initial background information through Google and researched these sites to ascertain the content from various stakeholders. These included community groups, government agencies and local papers. I then used Google Scholar with Curtin University enabled to find some scholarly articles related to cane toads. One name that kept coming up was Richard Shine, who was a professor at the University of Sydney. Checking back through my notes, I realised that I had come full circle as he also heads up a research group called Cane Toads in Oz. It is widely believed cane toads are a threat to native fauna as they can change the structure of the ecosystem through overconsumption, as they are ravenous species who can eat up to 200 items a night, leading to long-term flora changes. They are also believed to poison many native predators as they find it hard to differentiate between frogs and cane toads. There have been numerous studies to find ways to eradicate cane toads. The number one method used throughout many years has been the catch and destroy. They've also looked at many ways to manipulate native fauna behaviour by aversion therapy. These are both unfeasible methods as it would take thousands of man-hours training and then catching to put a dent in the population. Closing down artificial waterways is also another method looking at stopping the migration into Western Australia, but this idea is also untenable due to the fact that many of these water sources are on pastoral land. Ecosystems are precarious places. Even a slight shift in one dynamic can lead to a big alteration. In my view, after delving deep into this inquiry, I feel the results of many studies can't equate to the deterioration of an ecosystem based solely on cane toad habitation. Climate change and urbanisation needs to be factored in as well. I can see my topic being taught to students in Stage 2, probably Year 4, through the Australian curriculum strands ACSSU 072, Living Things Have Life Cycles, and ACSSU 073, Living Things Depend on Each Other and the Environment to Survive. Cane toads taught to a class of 9 and 10-year-olds in a teacher-led lesson would be boring. To learn, students need to be engaged in their own learning through inquiry and project-based learning, promoting critical thinking. And if all else fails, funny pictures. This topic could be delivered in the classroom in quite a few ways. Using the curriculum strands as guidance, the main topics I would focus on would be life cycle of cane toads and the food chains and webs of the habitats. To provide interesting ways to engage the students, I can see group work involving presentations of their findings in a news reporter style, dioramas of the cane toad habitats, food chains and life cycle, creative writing as a scientist for a day, and even animations using iPad app Animation Studio, but really unpacking their inquiry to give the students a deeper understanding and exploration of cane toad habitats, adaptations and their dependence on other fauna for survival.
Created using Powtoon.